Hey, it's Adam. Today I'm going to be listing my top 10 wishlist plants, and I'm also going to add my top 5 wishlist orchids. So technically it's a top 15 plant wishlist video. I'm also going to be talking about my plant goals for 2021, but that's going to be towards the end of the video. And then I'm going to do a follow-up video at the end of the year or at the beginning of 2022 and just check and see if I accomplished these goals and how far we got. I'm also thinking of starting a plant fund because a lot of these plants are really pricey and out of my price range for sure. But yeah, I just might be like selling my cuttings and stuff like that on Marketplace to just save up specifically for these plants, because I can't imagine myself just dropping like $200 to $700 on a cutting that might not even make it. So yeah, I'm going to begin by listing all of my wishlist plants, and then towards the end of the video I'm going to be talking about my goals for the houseplants I already have. I'm going to move the camera kind of here and then insert photos of all the plants. The photos I am going to be inserting are from Google, and they're not my photos, so I don't know if I'll get in trouble, but let's see. I'm just going to insert random photos. So the first plant on my wish list is the Philodendron Gloriosim. The Gloriosim has really large leaves and it has these white veins, and it's just like the foliage plant that I feel like I need in my collection. So I hope to add one of those. I don't know if I'll be adding one of those this year because they are really pricey. I've seen 2-leaf plants for around $200 in my area on Marketplace, and I don't know where I'd get them online. So I don't know if I'd be getting Gloriosim soon, but even if I were to get one, I don't know where I'd put it because I think they can be quite tricky, and I need to make sure I have the right humidity levels before I invest in one of these plants. The next plant on my houseplant wish list is the Philodendron Florida Beauty. The Florida Beauty is kind of like the Florida Ghost Philodendron, but it has variegated leaves and not just like one white leaf, it's like variegated. So I'll talk more about Florida Ghost later too, because that's also on my wish list, but they're kind of expensive too. I've seen cuttings for over $100, and I don't know how much a plant would be, but I hope to add a Florida Beauty soon. I like the shape of the leaves and I like the variegation, and I hear they're a little bit easier to grow. After that, I wanted to add a Philodendron Pastizanum on my wish list. This is another pricier plant. I think it's over 100 or like under 200 for a small Pastizanum plant, and for a large statement plant like the one Plantarina has on her channel I don't even want to know how much that costed. So obviously I'd be starting off with a small Pastizanum plant if I were to get one, but eventually it would become a huge plant with huge leaves, and it would just be really like a statement piece. Next plant on my plant wish list is the Monstera Alba. So this is like a white variegated Monstera, but it is really expensive. I've seen cuttings auctioning for like $500 to $700 on my Facebook, and also it's really hard to grow apparently. It's not like your regular Monstera like mine in the back here. It is a really temperamental plant, so I don't see myself getting that soon, but it is definitely on my wish list, and I just hope to start with one and grow it into like a huge established specimen. So yeah, a Monstera Alba would be awesome. Another plant on my wish list is the Philodendron Melanocrism or Melanocrism. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, but it's kind of like the Micans. I brought my Micans here to show because I really like this plant now. At first I didn't, but once I saw it in person, it's literally so cool. The leaves are literally velvet, like they're textured. So the Melanocrism is like a little bit larger version of that, and it has more velvety leaves in my opinion. I haven't actually seen one in person. I don't think I've seen any of these plants in person, but I've heard that the leaves are more velvety. And as the Melanocrism gets older, the leaves start to elongate and look more mature. The next plant on my wish list is the Philodendron Florida Ghost. This plant has, it doesn't have like the speckled variegation like the Beauty, but it has kind of one, I'd say light green or like white or cream leaf. It just puts out one really bright leaf and then it kind of fades to the rest of the plant. So yeah, I just really would like one of these in my collection, and maybe I'll get one this year. The prices are okay. Like I've seen them at maybe $100 for a plant. I don't know, but hopefully I can get one this year. And I heard they are a little bit easier, so I'm hoping I can get one and take care of it really well and grow it into a nice specimen plant. After that, I added the Philodendron Alba to my list. It's kind of like a white variegated arrowhead vine, and I heard they're also easy to grow. They're also an acceptable price, like $70, which is still kind of pricey, but for a plant that is variegated and just like, it just looks so awesome and it's easier to grow, I might be getting one this year, so hopefully, but it's definitely on my wish list. Those were 7 more expensive and rarer houseplants that are on my wish list, and then I have 3 I'm gonna add that are attainable. So I know for sure I will probably get them this year. So first I actually added this Cebu Blue Pothos, and I ended up getting one already. So besides that houseplant tour I just did, I have to add one more plant. Let me show it. It's my Cebu Blue, and it is a pothos, and at first I never liked this plant either, but you really have to see it in person. The leaves are blue, like they have like this silvery blue tint to them. At first I thought it looked green, and I don't know how it looks on camera actually, but it's kind of like the silver sword philodendron, but I feel like it's going to be a lot easier to grow. So I'm really excited to grow this. It was $25, which is a good price because I think they are more common in the States. Like you can get a hanging basket of Cebu Blue Pothos, but over here they're like 1 leaf or 2 leaf cuttings for $20. So I got this entire thing for $25. I think that was a good deal, and it has a new leaf, so yeah. I'm also gonna grow it up my moss pole, I decided. I have this pot I'm gonna put it in, and then yeah, this is the moss pole, because my silver sword, which is my favorite plant, ended up having thrips. I looked closer at it and it has thrips. I noticed thrips in my little IKEA greenhouse, the really small one with my calatheas in it, and it's also on that Philodendron Brazil I showed in the houseplant tour. So all those are quarantined. I've never had thrips before, and I heard they can be really bad. So yeah, the silver sword is definitely not doing well, and so I don't know if I'm gonna add it to the moss pole. So I might save that for the Cebu Blue Pothos. I make a video of adding this to the moss pole. It has a root, by the way. But yeah, I might make a video of adding that to the moss pole because I'm kind of excited to do that, and I'll update on the thrips later because I don't know what to expect. So I've washed the plants off, and I heard I need to buy some chemicals for them. But anyways, let's get back into the wish list. So yeah, Cebu Blue Pothos is now off of my wish list, and it is in my collection, so that's kind of awesome. But yeah, the next thing on my wish list that is attainable is a rubber tree plant. So I don't know why I've never had one before. Out of all the plants I've bought and gone through, I've never had a rubber tree. But I'm not talking about the regular black or white variegated ones. I'm talking about a pink rubber tree. I feel like I want to add a pink rubber tree to my collection, and there should be a photo of it. Yeah, I don't know why. I just feel like I want to add that to my collection this year and finally start with a rubber tree and just see how they grow. Another plant I will probably for sure get this year that's on my wish list is the Hoya Crimson Queen. I have the Crimson Princess and I have the regular one, but I wanted to add like a Crimson Queen because I heard they are quite easy to grow, and I heard the Princess is a little bit more difficult. I didn't do my research before I bought it, but my Princess is growing fine. It has 2 new leaves, but I just want to add a Crimson Queen. I like how it's more simple variegation where it's a full green leaf with white on the edges, and yeah, I just see myself adding one of those to my collection this year. So yeah, the pink rubber tree and the Hoya Crimson Queen are kind of, I wouldn't even say uncommon, they're kind of more common. I've seen them for like 10 to 15 on Marketplace once in a while, so I definitely see myself adding that to my collection this year. I just wanted to add it to my wish list because I'm kind of going towards those plants, I'd say. Like, I know that I want to get one, so I added it to my wish list. But the last plant I'm going to add is also attainable, but it is still a little bit more pricier. It's the Skindapsus Moonlight. And I only have 2 Skindapsus. I have the Argyrius and the Exotica, and I recently got them, so I'm not sure how they grow. But so far they've been easy. I can't imagine the Moonlight is any more harder to grow. But I just find myself going towards the silver blue leaves, like the Sebo Blue Pothos and the Silver Sword Philodendron. I just find myself always going towards those blue, silvery kind of colored leaves. So the Skindapsus Moonlight is taking the place of the Sebo Blue on my wish list because the blue leaves again. I've seen pots of Skindapsus Moonlight for maybe like 3 to 4 leaves for around like 60 to 70, which is really pricey. But recently I saw a few that were maybe 1 or 2 leaf plants for like 30, sometimes even 20. But yeah, the prices are coming a little bit more down, and I just see myself getting one this year. So that's what I mean by attainable. Like, even if it means starting with a really small plant, it is in an okay price range, like better than $100 to $200. So I see myself getting a Skindapsus Moonlight this year, and I can't wait to grow that along with my Silver Sword and my Sebo Blue Pothos, because I'm literally obsessed with silver or blue colored houseplant leaves. Those are all of the houseplants that are on my wish list for this year. Now I'm going to talk about the orchids that are on my wish list this year. So my top 5 orchids that I have on my wish list. And first I'd say is a large flowered Catalase Orchid. I just want to get a, like, it doesn't even matter the color at this point. I just want to get a reliable Catalase Orchid, like just a large flowered one, a large plant that grows vigorously, always blooms no matter what. So yeah, because I'm just tired of having Catalayas that don't do well for me. And some people just have these large Catalayas that they've had for a long time in their collections, and they just grow without any problems. So I just want to get a vigorous Catalase with big flowers. And if I had a color choice, probably in the like light purple, light blue, white color tones, or the peachy red color tones. So yeah, I hope to add a Catalase this year that has nice big flowers, because as you know, I do have one Catalase, but it is a small flowered one, and I'm not a big fan of the color. And also it's not really blooming, so it just keeps growing new growth. So and I would also like to add a Dendrobium Phalaenopsis to my collection. I've always wanted a Dendrobium Phalaenopsis orchid. I don't know, I just like the way the canes look, and then I like the way the flowers look, and I like the way they grow on the stems. This is my humidifier, by the way, in the background. But yeah, specifically the splashed color that you just saw in the photo of Dendrobium Phalaenopsis, I just really want to get that variety, and if not, just any variety of Dendrobium Phalaenopsis in general. I just want to try one out and see how it grows for me. I do have 2 Dendrobiums, but they're Dendrobium nobiles, and so those I find are a little bit more difficult for me. They do bloom, but they just don't look the best. You know, the canes are looking tired. I just want to get a Dendrobium Phalaenopsis because the canes also look a little bit more tidy to me. The leaves don't fall off before they bloom, and yeah. Next I added just a big classic white Phalaenopsis orchid. I got into plants in general just because of orchids, and it was originally those big orchids, Phalaenopsis orchids that I saw in the store, and I've never really had one that just blooms for me every year with large and many flowers, like just one of those classic orchids. So I hope to add one of those to my collection, specifically a plain white one, just with huge flowers and just with like huge leaves and just a faithful bloomer. And the next orchid I'm adding to my wish list is a Phaius orchid, or like a nun's cap orchid, I think it's called. But I wanted to add specifically a hybrid one. So I did see them at a nursery a long time ago, and I have never seen them ever since. And they were, I think, $45 for a huge, large plant. It was literally huge, and there were so many flowers, and it was so tall. It was like a couple feet tall. So I just feel like I want to add that to my orchid collection to make it a little bit more diverse. And yeah, I think they are also terrestrial. I don't really know much about them, but I just think they also look awesome when they're not blooming, because the leaves are kind of large and textured. So yeah, I really want to add a Phayas orchid to my collection. Last orchid I want to add on my wish list is another Phalaenopsis. I always wanted like different orchids, Dendrobium, Catalase Orchid, but now I find myself also adding some more Phalaenopsis to my wish list. And this one is called, I think, a Purple Martin orchid. It's a mini, and it has these like bluish, purplish flowers. I think it's the closest you'll get to blue in an orchid, but yeah, I just really want to add one of these to my collection. Finally have a Phalaenopsis that has like a name tag or something. So yeah, a Purple Martin orchid would be awesome to add to my collection. Those are all the houseplants and orchids I want to add to my collection this year. Those are all my wishlist plants, and yeah, let's see how it goes. I definitely am not expecting myself to buy all of these plants by the end of the year, but I hope to grab a few and maybe add a few more of those orchids to my collection. So let's see at the end of the year or early 2022, let's see what happens. Next, I want to talk about my 2021 plant goals. Usually people do these videos at like right after New Year's, and I'm doing it, today's February 1st, and I don't know when I'm going to post this, but I'm doing a little bit late, but it's better than not doing it at all. So my 2021 plant goals are only 2 things so far, but I hope to have accomplished both of these by the end of the year. So the first plant goal of 2021 I'd like to accomplish is actually an idea I got from someone else's channel, and she said something that was called like bigger plants, fewer pots, I think, and that just really stuck with me because I have so many little plants and cuttings I got this year off of Marketplace, and I just want to grow large statement plants and just not have all these little cuttings everywhere. Like if I have, for example, 3 pots of pearls and jade pothos, instead of having 3 separate little pots of these plants, I'd like to add them to one huge pot and just have a statement plant. So yeah, fewer pots, fewer pots, bigger plants. In other words, I need to stop buying plants, wait for mine to grow bigger, and also add more cuttings to the pot and make it look full. The next goal is to invest in pots. So basically I bought all those clay pots I showed in my houseplant tour, and it was the best thing that has happened. I got to transfer a lot of my new houseplant cuttings out of just their nursery pots and using like lids as saucers. But I got to put them inside actual nice pots and just make them look great, you know? So I want to make like a pot theme. I want to have gray pots all up there and then clay pots all here. Instead of just, for example, let me grab this plant. It's in its nursery pot because I don't have an outer pot for it. I need to find a gray outer pot for it so that it can match. And then the saucer is just a Tupperware lid. That is really common in my house. Like all around, you'll see just a bunch of plants that I have in their nursery pots just sitting out on a lid as a saucer. So I want to invest in some nice cover pots and spray paint a lot of pots and just make everything match. So this is now the end of the video, and that's my entire wish list and my plant goals. So let's see what happens. If you want to see a specific video from me, just leave it in the comments and I will probably make a video on that, because it just really gives me some ideas, much needed ideas on what to film. So thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you soon.